Hi guys, this is Kim from Kim's Vintage Obsessions, and last weekend Max and my dad and we went antiquing at Adam's Antiques in Denver, PA. I'm just going to be showing you guys some of the really awesome things that I saw. Up there you can see some lucite grapes. I actually have a little bit of a TikTok addiction, and there is a lady on TikTok that collects lucite grapes. I do follow her, and there's so many colors. Honestly, it is surprising. There's amber, purple. I know the lamp lady once sold a purple set with matching candlestick holders for, I believe, like $600. And here you can see pewter Victorian ice cream molds. How cool is that? You can mold your ice cream. I didn't know that was a thing. I know that hard candy toys were a thing and they were popular in the 1800s. This store in particular had an amazing amount of Waterford. This is the most Waterford crystal I've ever seen in one place, and honestly the prices weren't that bad. I've seen single champagne flutes going for $75, and the pieces here were, I would say, under $30 for each piece, unless it was something particularly large or spectacular. But you can really tell that it sparkles, it's quality. High lead content, definitely over 24% lead content. The more lead there is, the more clear and sparkly it is. And you can just tell that those pieces are heirlooms, meant to last. This shop in general had a lot of jewelry. It had a lot of nice glass, and I don't mean just nice glass, I mean museum quality glass. Wait till we get to the end of the video and I'll show you guys what my dad calls the Rodeo Drive of glass and antique shops. I mean, sets going for upwards of $3,000. Are they worth that? Honestly, I've never seen anything like them. It's practically art at that point. This booth here was particularly eclectic. It was cute. You see some purple Blendo in the corner there. They just had a lot to choose from, but yet you could still see all of it. Definitely like treasure hunting. And there's this little motion sensor witch right there. It did startle me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I was looking at the uranium plates in the background, and then the witch started cackling and lighting up, and I got a little startled. But I think it's fun when shop owners incorporate things like that, because a lot of times antique stores are already quote-unquote spooky places. So if you can add to it, it definitely captivates people's interests. You can see here just the pure amount of costume jewelry. And this isn't just the cheap stuff either. This is the Austrian crystal, handmade metalwork and beading. It's really pretty stuff. You can see lots of brooches. My brooch collection has grown. I feel like I specialize in something and then I collect a whole bunch of it. And then I have a whole bunch of brooches, I have a whole bunch of glass. It just goes from thing to thing. Here was a bunch of Heisey glass. I do have a set of pink flamingo Heisey octagon plates from the 1920s. I got that stack, I believe at Carlisle, for $10, so that was definitely a steal. You see some Swarovski crystal and a Versace coffee service. I don't know if any of you guys are into designer things, but Versace is definitely up there. I think that coffee set was about $2,000. You saw the set of coasters there to the left. This booth had so much Heisey, and over here there's something exciting. I'm looking at the bowls first, but wait till I show you guys what I've been looking for so long. So this is a Domino sugar ice cube tray. Someone in the comments pointed out to me that these were a thing because I do prefer to use sugar cubes with my tea sets. This one I believe was like $55. It was 30% off, but I decided not to splurge on it. That back there is a Vaseline glass tea berry gum platter or advertisement. And I did run into one of those at Carlisle. I like seeing repeat items in between different stores. Here you can just see some really stunning shades of green in the uranium. And something funny I noticed about marigold iridescent glass. I won't necessarily call it carnival. Someone did point out to me in the comments that carnival glass is the early 1900s era. Everything after that is iridescent glass. I can always find one of each pattern, but I can never find more than one. This berry bowl set was stunning, but it was $650 for 6 bowls, and you can see my dad holding it here. It was beautiful, without a doubt. And this berry bowl set, I believe, was $400 or $275. Either way, I mean, they were definitely centerpieces, stunning pieces, but they were pricey. And here we have a lucite purse and some really stunning light purple candlesticks. I just love looking at the different glass pieces. A lot of times I don't go to buy, I just go to look around, see what I can identify. I definitely loved those I Spy books as a kid, so growing up and being able to do it in real life, learning about things, being able to put it in practice is a lot of fun. You can see some holiday petalware, and there were just so many beautiful sets of cups and glasses. You can see a hot chocolate set in the back, another stack of uranium plates for $19. Honestly, not a bad price for everything that glows under UV lights. The market is way up for it. I know that uranium glass knife that I got nowadays in the market is going for upwards of $200 on eBay. So I'm glad that I didn't have to pay that much for it. And you can see here trinkets, little crystal figures, so many different. Oh, I loved this yellow set. I mean, $99, fair enough. I don't see many of that color. And here was a French wardrobe. Just wait till Max stands next to it. There's a Max for scale. This thing was huge, and it was going for $10,000. I do believe the person selling it got an estimate on it, and it was valued at that price. But I could not imagine trying to get it out of that store, let alone shipped to your house, let alone paying $10,000 for one piece of furniture. But hey, the craftsmanship on it is so beautiful. I have no doubt that it isn't worth that. And here you can see some glass canes. I cannot recall which museum I went to, or perhaps it was the Uranium Glass Museum. The folks there, they had a few canes, but the story behind those is the glassmakers would use the leftover glass at the end of the day, and they would make pieces for their wives or pieces for themselves. And with those canes, sometimes they would have parades. So glass workers, just like coal workers or iron or steel, they would hold little events and have towns centered around that factory work. And a lot of those folks would parade their canes down the street. Thought that was a fun story. You can see in the back there a fairy lamp. I am on the hunt for red or green or blue. I have seen probably 3 fairy lamps in amber so far, and these tumblers were so pretty with the ruby cut to clear. Honestly, this store just had so much glass. It is a glass lover's paradise, especially for those that like a little bit of a treasure hunt. It's not just glass, and the prices do range from something more affordable to something very extreme. Up there, you can see some swung vases. A lot of that is Viking glass in the typical Viking colors and Viking glass styles. I do believe I have one piece of Viking glass. I think it is a sherbet dish from the 1960s. And I loved the pattern on these, like the crinkled paper bag. It just makes glass look so not like glass. That's the best way I can describe it. But here you can just see the reds, the pinks. I was particularly fond of those red plates in the back. I love the way the light goes through them. Max found a pair of opera glasses, so people that would go to the opera and sit all the way in the back, they needed binoculars essentially to see the stage. And I found some handmade glass pendants. I do have 2. They were gifted to me from a friend a few years ago. And I'll tell you what, I think we ran into a total of 6 glass knives today. Now, I didn't buy any because they were clear and pink, and I have definitely enough clear and pink ones. But what a day to run into glass knives. I feel like I'll go months without seeing them, and then I'll see 6 in one day. So my dad was hugely fond of the shade of blue of this, and it was such a neat candelabra. It held 6 little candles and then 1 big one in the center. My dad was like, wouldn't that make for an awesome centerpiece? I was like, Dad, that's a lot of fire for 1 piece of glass. And look at these picnic baskets. I honestly do not know much about picnic baskets. I assume that this is the Cadillac brand of picnic baskets. I would love to have one day. And look at this lampshade. Whether with the ruby cut to clear, or honestly, the cranberry rims with the crystal. I love cut to clear. You can just see the craftsmanship behind it. And this was neat. This is Coke mix, just Coke syrup. Before we had vending machines, it was your syrup that you would mix with water or carbonation. I don't know how old that was. I'm hoping that maybe it was refilled. Otherwise, that's some really old sticky syrup in there. Collection of bells, more candelabras, but those were ceramic. This booth did have a lot of ceramics and a bunch of salt and pepper shakers. I absolutely love pausing to look through people's collections of salt and pepper shakers. I recently got 2 glass ones that are shaped like lighthouses. So I finally have my interesting novelty little salt and pepper shakers. They're not particularly funny, but I do find them to be cute. So that'll have to do for now. This little display case had the most beautiful brooch collection I have ever seen. I was particularly fond of that yellow one and the green one back there. And these dinosaurs, my brother and I had these exact toys growing up. I think we called them Dino-News, and those were some of our favorite toys. Another interesting thing about the store was the furniture. Just look, imagine those cabinets with your glass collection in it. I love corner cabinets. I feel like it makes a great space of your corner without making your room feel too angular. This one had a lot of carnival glass in it, and we talked to the coolest lady here. She had on hats. I was trying on some antique hats, and I tried on one, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that looks so good on you," and I complimented her hat. And she said that every year, and she was probably in her 30s or 40s, every year she comes up to Ephrata and Denver, PA with her dad, and they spend 3 days antiquing and going to car shows for both of their birthdays because they're about the same time. So I thought that that was the cutest tradition, and I would love to do that with my dad as eventually I get older, move out of the house. I would love to have a tradition like that. But anyway, she goes every single year with her dad, and they both buy new hats and go to the antique stores and the car shows. So another thing about antiquing is you can go out and meet really cool people, and a lot of times they'll want to talk to you and talk about their special interests. So these vases had hand painting on them, and they're from Czechoslovakia. And this was some depression glass, yellow depression glass. I remember when I first started, it was my favorite to look for the yellow, and it was so rare. I couldn't find it anywhere. It's funny that as soon as you move on from trying to look for something, that's when you start to spot it. This was at the front of the store. We're about to enter into the Rodeo Drive, as my dad calls it. We have light pink with light blue bases. I have never seen this color combination. Look at this picture set with the Vaseline glass for $2,000. I mean, rightfully so, because have I ever seen anything like that before? Actually once, and that was at the world's largest uranium glass museum. That fellow, he had pieces just like this, one of a kind, maybe the last in the world. And this was my all-time favorite. These were designed to look like strawberries, so you can see the little leaves. I think that set was going for $3,800. So at that point, I think it becomes fine art. And I absolutely love the little stars and stripes on the cranberry with the milk glass. You can see the fairy lamp there. That had to go for a pretty penny as well. Just honestly the most stunning pieces I've ever seen, let alone the most stunning pieces I've ever seen going up for sale. Because a lot of times people that have collections like this, they hold on to it, they pass it down. Hopefully they teach their descendants the importance and the history behind it so that it can be truly appreciated and valued. Right there, you got Vaseline with amber, another color combination I've never seen before. You can just see the looks on our faces as we're looking at glass that's worth just thousands and thousands of dollars. So it was fun just to go look at that. It was like a museum. Look at the craftsmanship on these purple glasses. Absolutely stunning. But I definitely recommend, if you live in the area, to go out to this store in particular, even if you don't have $4,000 to drop on a picture set, just to go look and take it in. Of course, we have our Planners Peanuts. What is an antique store visit without running into at least 6 different kinds of Planners Peanuts merchandise? And you can see here more knickknacks, more glass with really beautiful hand craftsmanship. You can tell this stuff is old. Unfortunately, I don't know much about what I see here. I do think that's a sugar shaker, ? Please correct me if I'm wrong. I love learning new things. I love that decanter there. It's a big barrel and it decants into little shot glasses that are shaped like little barrels. I've seen at the Cambridge Glass Museum ones that look like airplanes and ones that look like carousels or Ferris wheels. Those were popular in the 1920s to have really cool alcohol dispensers. These booths were, you could look at these for hours and hours of just sparkly things. So this was Kim from Kim's Vintage Obsessions. I really wanted to thank you guys and all my new subscribers. I'm almost at 250. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a fantastic week.